You guys seem to like the video from a couple weeks ago where I showed you 5 beginner mixing tips, so I thought today we could level up and do 5 intermediate mixing tips. Tip number 1 is to use groups or buses to get everything sounding cohesive together. You can apply glue compression or send them to the same reverb all together. You can also render your stems in groups, so instead of sending a kick, a snare, a hi-hat to a mixer if you're doing so, you can just send them the drum group unless they ask for individuals after that. Okay, so in Ableton, all the routing is done for you basically, but let me just show you. So I got 3 vocal tracks here. So I want to group those together in a bus. So all I have to do is highlight them, shift click all of these, hit Control G, boom, now they're in a group. I'm gonna rename it vocal bus, and there you go. Once you have them there, you can actually add a compressor to it to glue it together a little bit, so we'll go ahead and do that. It glues the layers together, gives a little bit of cohesion, and now that they're in a bus together, you can send them wherever you want to as a group, or you can export them. Okay, so in FL Studio, you actually have to do all the routing and grouping and stuff yourself. So you highlight all these, and you click an open track down here, right click, route to this track only. We'll go ahead and name this drum bus. And then if I hit play on these drums, it's not going to the master anymore, it's going to this track. And now if I mute this, turn it down, we're controlling all the drums at once. And so what we can do is we can actually apply a little bit of compression to glue them together. Just a little bit. Tip number 2, set up send tracks for your time-based effects like reverb and delay and stuff. Don't apply them directly to a track. You have more control over one reverb instead of 6 reverbs stacked on top of each other. But also with reverb specifically, you make your sounds seem like they're in the same space together. And then of course you can choose the percentage that you're sending to the send, so you still have control over how much reverb is on it. When it comes to sends inside of Ableton, again, it's already done for you. When you load up a track, even if it's empty, you'll see a couple sends here. That's what these letters are with the knobs. You come over here where it shows these at the top, you right click and you hit insert return track. And now you have this return. You can put delays on it or reverbs or whatever. And then as you see, it letters them. So C, and now C shows up on all of these, and each one of these has a send. So let's say you have a time-based effect like a delay or a reverb. It's set up there for you, so now all you have to do is just turn up that send on the track. So for the vocal, we'll just say C, and we'll send it up to this vocal just to show. Like the moon in the night, pulling the tides. Obviously, you wouldn't want it to be that obvious or messy, but just showing that very simple. You just turn this up after you have it made. So again, FL Studio doesn't map things for you. You have to create the sends and the routing and stuff yourself. So to create a send track, it's pretty similar to creating a bus, but a little bit different. So what we're gonna do is, let's say I want to put delay on this snare. So let's name this track delay. Open up Fruity Delay 2 and set this just to be this. Now make sure when you're doing a send, whether it's reverb, delay, whatever, turn the dry all the way down, or if it's the opposite, if it's you're turning a wet up, turn the wet all the way up. You don't want the dry signal, you just want the wet signal. What we do now is we go into our snare and then we click this. When we click that, it's gonna route all the way, like a full amount to the delay, so you'll see what happens when that happens. You just turn this down to your liking. And that's controlling how much you're actually sending to that effect. Tip number 3, automate volumes, panning, and effects. This will give your track movement. You can automate things like track volume, pans, individual effects, really anything that you can control with a knob or a fader, you can automate. So you should be automating, maybe not everything because that can get really tedious, but for example on a vocal you might want to automate a delay throw or a reverb throw to fill a space, or you may want to do a fade out on the track as your outro, and you would do all this with automation, and it's really simple once you get used to it. Things are already kind of built in for Ableton automatically, but for automation all you do is you just click A. If for some reason A doesn't bring up the automation menu for you, click one of these buttons up here, try them both. It should be this one here, but go ahead and click that, then hit A, and then you'll have that back. So let's say I wanted to throw my vocals into a delay. I want the delay to happen, but just in the gaps, right? So what you would do is you would open your mixer here, click what you want to automate. In this case, I'm going to be automating the send of D. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to hit A. It's whatever you clicked last, it will try to automate. And what we're going to do is we're going to just draw this like this. And we're going to draw kind of this shape. Once you have it all drawn in like this, I can't tell if we're dead or alive. Are we dead or alive? And so you can see that it doesn't get clouded in the mix because you're cutting the delays in and out by automating it. So for automation in FL Studio, anything in the mixer, you're just going to right click it and then create an automation clip. So to show you what I mean, let's say we want this to play halfway through and then we want it to switch to half speed, like halfway through the sample. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the mixer track and then we're going to add Cymatics Deja Vu. This is just like a halftime plugin. It sounds like this. But again, we don't want that to happen all the time. So what we do is I will typically turn this all the way down first, then right click, create automation clip. Go back into the playlist. You see the automation clip zeroed out here. Let's say we want half of it. Half speed. And then you can even create a ramp instead of a step. That way it blends slowly. So now we have this. You can do that with anything. It's basically endless. You can do it with track volumes, panning, anything that says create automation clip. When you right click it, it will create an automation clip. Wherever your selector is where it's going to put the automation clip, or if you do this and you highlight a section, it'll put it there. Tip number 4 is sidechaining and parallel processing. Sidechaining is very useful. I use it all the time on my kick and bass. So my kick will sidechain a signal to the bass where every time my kick hits, my bass dips out just a little bit to let the kick come back through, and then after that the bass will come back up. Okay, so to sidechain in Ableton, all you need to do is add a compressor or whatever you're trying to sidechain. In this example, we're gonna go ahead and put a compressor on the bass. Open this tab, click sidechain. From the input, we want to do drums here. And if we go ahead and listen, it's not going to do anything yet. But then as I turn this down, I'll squash it so you can really hear it. Just letting that bass duck behind the kick. And that's how you sidechain in Ableton. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so for sidechaining in FL Studio, you have to manually route it. Open the 808 for delimiter. Go into the compressor section. As you see, if you right click the sidechain, it says none. So what you want to do is you want to go into the mixer, click the kick, click this, then turn this all the way down. You do not want the sound coming out of the 808 from the kick. You just want the signal to go through it. Go back to the 808, open the limiter, right click, and now you can see the kick is in there. So what we're going to do, let's go ahead and solo the kick in the 808. Open the limiter, and we're going to make the ratio like a 4:1, give or take. And then we're going to turn the threshold all the way down just so you guys can see what it's doing. And and you can see the dip happening here. So let's go ahead and turn the threshold up. And you can see these little dips happening right here. That's allowing the kick to come through and then the bass to come back and come through right after it, just to let the kick be more punchy. Parallel processing, you send your signal to a new track, compress it like a lot. Like a lot of times you want to really compress that sound, and then EQ it, whatever you need to do, and then you blend the two sounds together, and it adds more warmth and punch to your mixes. I do it a lot on drums. There's a couple ways to parallel process. If I go into my drum bus here, I can actually open up a compressor, compress it, then use the dry and wet to kind of parallel do it in that way. But another way to do it would be to add an audio track. We'll call this drum parallel. Take the input and click this in button right here. We're gonna open up a compressor and we're gonna really squash it. Let's go ahead and EQ out a little bit of the lows there. So now if we blend this in on the mixer, let's turn this all the way down and then bring it back up. So without, and then with it. It's a little bit subtle, but it does add some like thickness to your sounds when you do that. And you don't have to do it with drums, you can really do it with anything. So what I'm gonna do for parallel processing in FL Studio, we're gonna go ahead and name this track Parallel Drums. I'll just make it right here. And I'm gonna route the drum track to that track, open up a compressor. And let's turn the threshold way down there. Make the ratio like, you want to really squash it. I'll do like 11:1. You can do that to your liking, but you want to really compress it. And let's see what that sounds like. So let's go ahead and turn this all the way down. So with and without. It's going to thicken up the sound, and it's pretty straightforward to route. And you can do this with anything. I just showed you with drums, but you can do it with vocals, guitars, really anything. Anything that you're trying to like thicken up in the mix, it's good to use parallel compression. But you can do other parallel processing as well. Tip number 5, use saturation to add harmonics to your sounds. I do this to vocals, guitars, bass, not every time, but it does add a nice like mid warmth to it and helps punch through on a mix. Especially if you mix a lot of like heavier trap beats, you can really get your 808s to punch through when you add some distortion or saturation on top. Obviously don't go too heavy-handed with this because it can get a little out of control or get a little muddy, but adding a little bit of saturation will really bring some life to your sound. So for saturation, pretty straightforward. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add it to my drum bus. We can go ahead and add some saturation onto the drums directly. So without and with. Just adds a little bit of drive behind it. I would normally add like an EQ if needed, just to get out any mud that added. So like if we put this on, we can go ahead and add this here and roll this off a little bit. And that's how you add saturation in Ableton. So to add saturation, we're just gonna apply it right to our 808. Let's go ahead and put on the fruity fast distortion here, and right click, I go to the heat. Let's put this before one of our EQs here, and let's go ahead and hear what that sounds like without it first. without it, and then with it. It's going to add harmonics to your bass element, which is going to be really nice in the mix, and will make the bass come through in smaller speakers that don't really have the low end that you're trying to show off. And there you have it. Remember, like I said in the last video, mixing can really be a lot, and it is a science, so it's kind of easy to get lost in the weeds, but just experiment, have fun, push your mixes as far as you can, maybe even save new copies of a mix. That way you can get more experimental but not destroy the original thing you had. If this video was useful for you, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I appreciate all the support the channel's been getting the last couple weeks, and if you have anything that you want to see in the videos, just leave a comment below and I'll try to help with whatever I can. See ya.